In April 2004, my son Rowan was diagnosed with autism. In India, I'd been hired to write a guidebook to the region. She was there doing research for her PhD in psychology. We couldn't have been more different. I was British, brought up partly in London and partly on a farm training horses. Kristen was a suburban girl from California. But the moment I saw her, a voice in my head said, clear as day, that's your wife. We married and settled in Texas, where Kristen got a job as a professor of psychology. And I continued my career in journalism and human rights, working mainly with the Bushmen of southern Africa's Kalahari. When Rowan was born and we began living as a family, it was like everything had finally fallen into place.
Swing me just a little bit high.
And then, it all fell apart. The world had once been our oyster. Now it had narrowed down to just getting through the next day. Our lives became clogged under a mountain of conflicting literature and information on the disorder, the possible causes, treatments and prognosis. We tried everything. Behavioral analysis, pills, creams, diets. We were out of options. He didn't speak to us, spent hours lining up objects obsessively, was completely isolated from other kids and subject to endless tantrums. His tantrums came in waves, several times a day, lasting sometimes up to 4 hours. Autism tantrums, they're not like normal tantrums. They're often neurological in origin, which means the child is unreachable, impossible even to console.
Baby goat.
One more hippo.
I had been keeping Rowan away from horses because I thought he was unsafe around them. But one day, he ran away from me onto the property of my neighbour Stafford and ran right up to his old mare, a horse called Betsy. She didn't spook. Instead, her reaction was so gentle, so submissive, I realised immediately that he had some direct line to her. The moment I put Rowan on Betsy's back, he began to speak.
He's a nice horse.
This deep relaxation, it's such a rare thing for him. There's something going on between them that, even with all my years of dealing with horses, I just have never seen. It's this mystery, but it's a very beautiful mystery. Just like autism is a mystery. Feels like a warm, sunny day after winter. As Rowan began to open up to me for the first time, a light bulb went on in my head. I asked myself, why does autism have to mean the shutting down of everything? Why couldn't it be a gateway into adventure? Maybe even a gateway into healing? It may sound odd, but I have something of a history with traditional healing. In the course of my work with the Bushmen, I had, during the previous 10 years, been introduced into their world of healing through the use of a shaman. The Bushmen, and many peoples like them, address their spiritual dilemmas, their health dilemmas, their social dilemmas, even their political dilemmas, through the use of a trained shaman who enters a state of trance, talks to the spirits, and comes back with an answer. As unbelievable as it may sound, in my years of working with the Bushmen, I have seen, many times, people cured of a variety of illnesses this way. So I asked myself, was there a place on Earth that combined this kind of shamanic healing with horses? What if we were to go there, riding on horseback from healer to healer? What if we were to do something like that?
When you first proposed the idea, I just looked at him like, this is crazy. We have an autistic son, incredibly difficult to deal with just getting through each day. This is the absolute last thing we need in our life right now, is to go to Mongolia on horseback. It's just insane. I mean, I don't even like horses. We're going to try to keep our tantruming autistic son on the horse, going from shaman to shaman, and is this going to work?
But that, eventually, is exactly what I convinced her to do. Together, we were to set off from Ulaanbaatar, meeting with shaman along the way.
The whole explanation.
Recently, there seems to be more problems with very severe autism that remains nonverbal and this regressive autism. And I'm very concerned about environmental contaminants.
One theory of autism is that individuals with autism are, you might say, a reaction to our environment. There's a lot of pollutants out there, there's heavy metals or pesticides. This is having a huge impact on the human body.
There isn't much doubt that an environmental factor will eventually be established, and it may be that it has to interact with the genes, that environmental factor only contributes to autism in an individual who's already got a genetic susceptibility.
Before our arrival, Tulga had been putting the word out that Rowan was coming. The result was that shamans were travelling in from all over the country for the healing, in what we were told would be the largest gathering of shamans since the end of communism. Is he going to whip me?
Yeah, a little bit. You cannot scream. You have to face the mountain and on the knees. You're not allowed to scream.
Okay.
Apparently you're not allowed to cry out. Okay, that's fine. Okay, it's all done now.
I have him too.
Well done. So proud of you. Come here. It's a good crazy. And then something happened. Something was released. Rowan began laughing, giggling, playing with the shamans. Next morning, we set off into the great interior of Mongolia. 10 hours drive to the first nomad camp, where we were to meet the guides and horses who would take us to Lake Shaga and its healing waters.
Are they going to play together?
All right.
This is very unusual.
This is
playing
totally
with a kid
unusual.
like that.
Yeah.
Very unusual.
I haven't seen him do that kind of interactive play before,
No,
ever, actually.
no.